Hey everybody, thanks for checking out this video. And I just want to start this video by saying, oh hell no. Okay, oh hell no, which is translation from the Southern. I'm Susan Lynn. I'm a psychic and a medium. Today we're going to be talking about politics. So I'm going to just start out with Governor Newsom meeting with Charlie Kirk. And that would be what I was just referencing when I said, oh hell no, because this is wrong, you guys. This is completely unacceptable is what I'm going to tell you. And also it's a good time to let you know that not only am I a psychic medium, but I'm channeling. So I'm channeling about 60% spirit guides, 40% Susan, which would be the all hell no part. So anyway, just so that you understand who's responsible for what. But the guides are saying this is irresponsible is the word they want to use. I don't know what word I just used because I'm channeling, but they're saying it's irresponsible. This is the guides are saying it's conniving. There's this energy of conniving, of competition at any cost. So in other words, like, well, if the whole country has lost their mind and the Democrats have to compete on this new playing field, then I need to, being Newsom, then I need to be open to that. So I can scoop up those people who are going to be upset at 45 and they're not going to want him, but they're not maybe ready to come over to some California Democrat, right? So Newsom has a real problem because he's a California Democrat, and that's not a problem for me, but the Republican machine has attacked California for like 30 years, right? I think even Reagan probably attacked his own state, right? So this is a problem if you want to be president, because when he was thinking about running, everybody was thinking, well, why doesn't Newsom run? The next thing people would say is he's from California, he'll never win. So what he's doing is the guides are saying he's remaking his identity to be more palatable for a certain group of people. And that is very, the word just, they want to insert conniving, but there's another word that I would use here. But maybe it'll come to me. I think it's a mistake because the country, the guides, the spirit guides keep telling me, you're not monsters, right? Like 80-90% of us are not monsters. 10% are, they're just flat out inhumane, unsympathetic, unempathic monsters. But the average American citizen is not going to kick someone, as they walk by the homeless person. They're just not. They might walk by the homeless person with blinders on, which is apathetic. That's for sure apathetic, and that's not great. But we're not going to go around, violently attacking people. But that's who they want us to be. That's who they want us to be, so that we turn against each other, so they can rule us. They want us divided. And that's why the spirit guides have been saying for years, community. It's all about community. Because if you realize that maybe your neighbor is, another party or another culture or another skin color, you might actually find some common ground with them on gardening across the fence, or you might find some common ground in some other area. And this is why this is where the guides are leading me with this whole thing about Newsom, because they want to talk about discernment. And this is very important right now, because we found out, and we're finding out that, some of those Stephaniks, some of those Democrats weren't really Democrats. We're finding out that Newsom is not exactly the California boy that his roots would suggest, or that his PR would suggest. Now, I will also say that every time I talk to a Californian, 4 out of 5 of them don't like him. And I think that's something else that we should pay attention to, right? You talk to Tim Walz's constituents and they all freaking love him and they were going to miss him. So I think it's discernment. Pay attention to who the voters in the state that this person is from, what they say about this person. Like, remember what everybody said about 45 from New York? New Yorkers hated the guy, still hate the guy. We didn't pay attention. I'm just saying, we're going to need discernment here. And I've never been a real Newsom fan. I was really quite worried when he so powerfully became a surrogate for Biden, meaning he went out and took the punches and did the party line on Fox News and all those things, right? Like he was really out there absorbing the blowback and doing a good job of it. And I was grateful for that. But at the same time, I worried because that's also a person who is sharpening their tools or spiffying up their resume, maybe even rewriting their resume, which is what he's doing with Charlie Kirk. So he met with Charlie Kirk, who's not a good person. This guy is not a good person. Nobody would think this guy is a good person. And yet he met with this guy under the guise of keep your enemies, closer, keep your friends close and your enemies closer even still. That looked real chummy to me. That picture of him and Charlie Kirk together looked really chummy. And Charlie Kirk had great things to say about Newsom. He's the best Democrat. He's the best thing Democrats have going. Look, who does this remind you of exactly? It reminds you of Putin saying 45 is a good leader and 45 saying Putin's a good leader. When people show you who they are, believe them, folks. Believe them. This is not good. I don't like this. He's always made me nervous, and now I don't like this. And let me tell you why also I don't like this, because I don't expect this administration to literally the whole freaking enchilada, no offense to enchiladas, to last for 2 years. It's not 4 years. No way they're going to last 4 years. I don't expect them to last 2 years. I would be surprised if they last 18 months, which is what the guides have always said. Now, I think there's some real possibilities and probabilities that something goes awry and they get kicked out this year. But that's not a guarantee, because I'm reading the energy, right? It's not out. There's no set thing. 1 month ago, would you have said that Newsom would be chummying up to Kirk, to Charlie Kirk? You understand about discernment, and you understand that people do things and you're like, why did they do that? What's wrong with them, right? The thing is that we've been gaslit by everybody, by some of the Dems, by all of the Republicans. And we're believing a lot of the stuff that they're shoving down our throats. And I want you to understand that as we go forward, especially in the month of March, to not throw the baby out with the bathwater, to have some discernment. In this case, I think Newsom should be put on probation. Maybe not. I'm not even sure that if he was the candidate that I would fully trust him as a presidential candidate. I don't think, right. So here's what the guy said. This is super good, right? Compare Pete Buttigieg going on Fox. That's keeping your friends closer and your enemies closer still. Pete Buttigieg going on Fox was a very different scenario than Newsom having Charlie Kirk on his podcast. That's all you need to know right there. Buttigieg, his energy is solid. He knows who he is. He's transparent about who he is. And I think Newsom is transactional. And Newsom will become whoever you need him to be for him to get the power that he seeks. Okay, so discernment is important. And I think within the Democratic circles of your whoever your friends are, or the groups, or even online people that you watch, they're saying don't be so hard on Newsom. We can't afford to go after other Democrats. Well, forewarned is forearmed, you guys. At the same time, don't throw the baby out with the bathwater. We need to understand what part is the bathwater and what part is the baby. Discernment. Once we decide, then we can get rid of whatever part we don't want. And that's where the Democrats are going. This is where we're going. We are really understanding that perhaps there's not a shining star to follow here. And we're feeling lost and cast out and not supported, not heard. Now, I would say that that's probably how you're feeling, and that's certainly however you're feeling is valid. But I would say there is some stars starting to appear, and I think they're going to challenge people like Newsom. And first of all, let's talk about Bernie Sanders. I love Bernie Sanders. I have to admit, I've never been a Bernie stan. I've never been like a die-hard Bernie Sanders person, but I've always really respected him and really liked him. Okay. Now, if you're not aware, Bernie Sanders is barnstorming, if you know what that phrase means, right? He's out there drawing what looks to be like thousands of people to his events. I'm not talking about in the parking lot, folks. I'm not talking about at the UU Hall. I'm talking about in a stadium. That's important. And he's not just done it 1, 2, or 3 times. He's doing it pretty regularly. This is important because Bernie Sanders has been in the fight day in, day out, decade after decade. And this is when we really need him most. And he did the thing. He's doing the thing, right? Do you guys recall before Biden had to give the keys over to the criminal, that the spirit guide said Biden should be in a helicopter and a jumpsuit. He should be touring the fires in California. That Democrats have to be more. I mean, I'm sorry, it is what it is, people. We have to be more of a celebrity. We have to grab the media. That's what Newsom did. What do they say? No publicity is bad publicity. Everybody's talking about him. He's back on front page. This is what the Democrats have to do, but hopefully more like Bernie Sanders, right? Be on the front page. I need to see these Dems doing things that are eye-catching, surprising. And who cares that it's not traditional? I don't care. 45, and the guides have said this many times, it reminded me, 45, right out of the gate in his first presidential regime, he was doing rallies all the time. And you remember Barack Obama had those amazing, huge rallies. And as soon as he became president, they said, you can't do any more rallies. Presidents don't hold rallies. You're not campaigning. You cannot do that. And of course, Barack Obama said, of course, I would never break with tradition. I would never do anything, like that. Then 45 comes in and he burns all the traditions down, and now he's burning our government down. So guess what? Democrats have to wake up and say, we're going to do it. We don't really care. So now you see people like, thank God for her, Jasmine Crockett. You see Al Green. You see Texas on the map, y'all. Okay? That's what I'm saying. We have to get out of our comfort zone, perhaps. Okay? And I would encourage you as a person, if you're here in the United States, you're a citizen of the United States, whatever, to contact, do your 5 calls, get the 5 calls app. It's amazing. It's a free app, and it helps you make 5 calls a day to, people that are in leadership positions, and tell them, I need to see you. You know what the guides are telling me? And this has started with Bernie. And you remember, maybe AOC was a Bernie stan. AOC, learned from Bernie. And AOC and Bernie are both saying, hey, if you're Republican or whoever is your person, your rep, your senator, if they're not having a town hall, invite me. I'll come to your town hall. What? That is brilliant. Because you remember, maybe you don't even know, Republicans said, we're not doing town halls anymore. You all are mean. You're mean to us. You hurt our feelings. So they just said, we're not doing town halls. These brave Democrats are saying, I'll do your town hall. I'll come to your community, to your state, to your city, and I'll talk to you because I care about you. I'm not your rep. I'm not your senator, but I care about you. Compare and contrast that to Newsom saying, I want to be closer to these MAGAs, so I'm going to bring me a Charlie Kirk in here because my son loves him. I mean, come on. That man should be shunned. I am not kidding you. I know this. I don't even care. I don't care anymore who I make mad. I don't care. He crossed the line. I believe Charlie Kirk is a fascist, just my opinion. And I think Newsom crossed a line. So there's really good things happening here. That's what I want to say. The stars are aligning to bring us some real leadership. The leadership might be a group of people like Maxwell Frost, right? AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Al Green, Max Waters. I can't get her name right now. Maxine Waters. All these people. Maxine Waters said, I think that the election was, whatted by pointing at the sky. I think the election might not have been correct pointing at the sky. Oh, yeah. Democrats are finally realizing that we have to come out and fight. We cannot bring a rule book to a firefight anymore. And if all of this stuff is tradition and not law, then guess what? Game on. Game on. So I like that for us. But I want to point out that there will be some Democrats that disappoint you. Now, okay, so the guides are saying, right? Okay, this is a fair point. The guides are saying that some Democrats have been elected to purple districts. They got conservatives and they've got maybe conservative Dems and conservative red people, right? So, but there they are, and they've got to vote. They've got to represent their people. I get that. I'm not saying that, right? So they're saying that you're going to hear a lot of people talk about purity test. This is the new thing now. We can't make them pass a purity test because their constituents might be to the right of you, and these elected officials have to represent their constituents. Okay, I'm good with that. That's where we go back to the baby with the bathwater, right? I'm good with that. But ain't nobody's constituents. If you're a Democrat, Charlie Kirk fans did not vote for you. Okay, again, I'm telling you right now. So this is the language that you're going to hear. This is the new argument that you're going to hear for the next 30 days. Purity test, Democrats infight. You're going to hear all this stuff on the news. Democrats are tearing each other apart when they should be coming together in solidarity. Maybe. But I would say that if a Democrat comes up and says, I voted for this because, and makes a good enough argument, then I'm an open-minded person. I can say, okay, you're not my elected official. You voted the way you did. You had an argument, and I can kind of see it. But if you come at me and say, I had Charlie Kirk on my podcast because my kid is a big fan, no, that's not responsible. Do you understand the difference? Okay, hopefully you do, right? So you're going to see a lot of just the guides are calling it cat fighting, scratching each other's eyes out, pulling hair. I don't know. Maybe that's what the Democrats do, right? On the Republican side, God only knows what they do over there. But on our side, we're cat fighting. I don't know. I guess it's okay. I feel like it's not detrimental. That's the main point here. We have to figure out our true identity as Democrats. We really do. We have to all come together and say, here are the lines, right? Here are the lines. Even though my district is purple, I'm not gonna be going for voting against Social Security or voting against parks or voting against trans people. You know what I mean? You have to hold the line. Not all of Tim Walls's constituents are Democrats. And he says it. He says, I got the vote now. I burned my credit. My constituents gave me the ability to go out here and do what I think is right. And I'm going to do what I think is right. I'm not going to just try to make everybody happy. And if they don't think what I'm doing is right, they'll let me know and they'll vote me out. But I'm going to do what I think is right. That's what I'm talking about. That's the Pete Buttigieg, Tim Walz. Like, no, I have my North Star. And I know what's right and what's wrong. March is the Ides of March. Like, you could go back and see every single March that 45 was in existence, that I've done my channel, that I've talked about the Ides of March. I've often gotten from my guides et tu Brutus, meaning betrayal. You too, Brutus, have betrayed me. I've always seen him being betrayed in the end result. And that's in so many ways, like his own family not coming to his rescue. But that's just one kind of betrayal. The other betrayal is an active betrayal by people that he made dirty deals with, right? Let's talk about Putin. The minute the 45, I'm trying to think of another, secured his win, because he didn't win it. He never won it. I've said that from the day after the election. It was rigged. He never won it. But the minute that he rigged it and secured it, Putin published naked photos of Melania on Russian state TV. And they don't even do that on Russian state TV. Like, Russian state TV is the most, this 1950s, basically. Go back to the 1950s. They cuckolded him. They embarrassed him. They said, you are mine now. Remember when, right after he got rigged in, criminally inserted, one of Putin's one of his main people said, we hope that DJT remembers that we did something for him and he needs to do something for us. Remember that? This is all public. This is all public. So what I'm trying to tell you is Putin will backstab him, because it's not about winning the United States or taking us over. It's about ruining us. It's about destroying us. It's about taking us off of the hill, the leader of the pack, for generations. They want to ruin us so bad that it will take generations for us to put ourselves back together, in any way, shape, or form, to even become some sort of power within the world again. Vanquish. The guides just said they want to vanquish us. Look it up. Yeah, March is going to bring a betrayal. The guides have said 2025 was going to be the year of the whistleblower. The whistleblower was going to be the person of the year. But this is where I want to forewarn and forearm you. I know all of you, including me, are looking for a quick fix. We're all trying to say we're in pain, we're in agony, we can't deal with this anymore. We need it to end. Please tell me when it's going to end. Please tell me when it's going to end. It's not going to end this month. As a matter of fact, I think that I would warn you, because forewarned is forearmed. And if you know about it, you don't have to freak out about it. But I think despite the betrayal, he's actually going to look more strong. And they're showing me what happened in Pennsylvania, which was also fake. Okay? The ear. Something can happen whether or not it's real or fake. I hope you understand what I'm trying to say. Something can happen, but it's going to actually make him look bigger. So even if it's an attack on him, or a betrayal, or it's like this, somebody gives this document or this video, or, and we all think this is it, right? This is it. People are going to wake up. People are going to use their discernment. And they're going to say, no, this guy is a fake, a loser. We need to get rid of him. We need to impeach him. And I'm telling you right now, it's not going to work. It's going to backfire on us. He's going to gain power. It's going to look like he gains power. He's not really going to gain power, but it's going to look like he does, because they're going to double down on him. A lot of these MAGAs are not just going to wake up. They can't, because to wake up, they lose all their credibility. They lose all their respect, all their standing. How are you going to go back to everybody and say, I was wrong? These are not people who say, I was wrong about anything. It's not in their energetic constitution to be able to admit defeat or to admit that they were wrong. So they're going to double down on him. So I want you to be aware of that. Yeah, the Ides of March are here. And yes, I do think that he's going to have some major betrayal. Even if he exited the realm and ended up in the great McDonald's in the sky, he'd be a martyr. He would gain power. So what I want you to understand is March could be a time when he gains power, but it's the last hurrah. So don't be even more discouraged when you're like, why can't they see, Susan? My God, it's right there in black and white. There's a video, there's evidence, whatever it is. It could be a real heartbreaking energy for us that are sane, because we're like, wow, I just feel defeated. Like when I go into the energy, I sink down and I just feel defeated, because I'm like, what will it take? Or also, maybe it's never going to happen. Like maybe these people are never going to wake up. Maybe it's over. And I want to tell you, forewarned is forearmed. That's not the case. This is a fake. Like they just keep saying like a bluff. It's a bluff, right? So sometimes wild animals charge you. Well, sometimes domestic animals, sometimes people charge you, and they're not intending to bite you or to beat you up, like that, like bluffing you. Like, come on, it's a bluff. This whole month is a bluff. So don't pay attention to it. Don't let it get you down. Don't let it take you out. Don't think the Democratic Party's falling apart, because it's not. Bernie is out there burning it down too. He's out there speaking truth to power. AOC, Maxwell Frost, Jasmine Crockett, so many people are out there doing the thing, really doing the thing, not capitulating, not obeying in advance. There's a lot of positive things happening this month. But I think that we could see something that we get really hopeful about, and then it ends up deflating. And we're like, that's it. Nothing is ever going. And there's that defeatist energy. That's it. Nothing is ever going to make this guy go away. Like, I'm defeated. Maybe feel that defeatedness for a minute, but we're not defeated. We're not defeated. This is not being defeated. This is all smoke and mirrors. The guides are saying it's all smoke and mirrors. I think the real energy, the real justice energy, the real I don't know what they're showing me. It's just circumstances, whatever, that is coming in April. That is coming in May. That is coming in June, July, and August. So those months, each one seems worse than the next. Each for him and for his people, for his administration. But remember that you're on the roller coaster with him. He's threatening to do things, and then he does them, but then he makes it right again. Do you know what he's doing? He's terrorizing us. He's literally dismantling your sanity. Don't let him do it. Yes, he's gonna get rid of the Department of Education. He's going to get rid of this. He's going to get rid of that. And then he turns around and reinstitutes it. So you just went, in 2 days, you went to hell and back on his crazy train. Don't do it. Nobody else is doing it. Look around. Look at your neighbors. They're all going about their lives like nothing is happening. I don't think they're right, but I don't think it's also right to be on his crazy train. Don't watch so much news. You know, what I try to do is prepare you for something you're going to experience so that it doesn't take you out at the knees. You can be like, okay, right, this is coming. Right now, I get it. Okay, right. This is just sort of a test to see what he can get away with this month. And the betrayals, he has a great way of making them his bitch again. You know, he really does. Look at Marco Rubio. My God. So I'm going to be doing some other videos. There is some other things happening. I'm not telling you right now that it's all, good, because it's not all good. Europe is under extreme stress to fund their own weapons. We said that. We said that Europe was going to be experiencing hardship, financial hardship, because now all of a sudden they've got to get weapons. And now Poland is saying that all males need to be ready to train to be soldiers. And all along, I've gotten Poland as being a very important part of this, not only because they share a border, but because with Ukraine, but because they've been invaded before, and they're feisty. I mean, if you're going to even think, if you're even going to consider, just think about doing something to Poland. I wouldn't even think about it, because these people don't play. They don't like the Russian administration, and they see it very clearly what is happening, and they're not going to play with this. So there's a lot going on in the world stage. There's a lot going on in the United States of America. The best thing for you to do is to take care of you, because as you can see, it's been like 6 weeks, and he's already laid off people, hired people back, canceled programs, brought programs back. It's a roller coaster to hell. Don't ride it. Instead, I'll tell you what my guides tell me: mind my business, get my money straight, get my energy straight. It's like they're saying, like how Poland is saying, we're going to prepare. We're going to prepare in case. That's what I want you to do. Prepare for in case. And if you have no money and you're flat broke, what I want you to do is go to the food pantry every single week and get as much of your money that you would normally spend on food. I want you to get it on the food pantry. And I want you to take that 5, 10, 20 bucks every week and put it under your mattress, or put it in a bank that you trust. That is how you're going to prepare yourself. So if your rent goes up, or your money runs out, or your check is late, you've got $100. You've got $200. There are ways to get through this. You are not helpless. You're not helpless. You're not. If you have Medicaid and you really depend on the Medicaid for your medicines, and you're telling me, like many of you have, that if I don't get my Medicaid, I will die. Do you know what the spirit guides told me? And I put this, I'm on Threads, I'm on Blue Sky. They said, and this is such good advice, they said, call Fox News and tell them I'm on Medicaid, and if he takes away my Medicaid, I'm going to die. Fox News loves those kinds of stories. If you have a child, God forbid, that is dependent on government money right now, call Fox News and be interviewed. Please do not say a psychic told you to do this. Don't mention nothing except for you, yourself, and your problem. And say to them, I think he's going to cancel Medicaid, and I'm really worried because I would be dead. Now, here's why I want you to do this. Because, number one, if Fox News airs it, thousands and thousands of people are going to see, oh, wait, is this happening? Is he going to, you're going to help them wake up and see the train coming down the tracks at them, so that they have time to get off the tracks. Because then thousands of people are going to start ringing up their Republican leaders and saying, what is going on? You can't do this to us. This is action you can take. You're not helpless. There are things you can do. You can write letters to the editor. You can call your local newspaper. You can call your local news station. You can go in front of Walmart with a sign that says, I'm on Medicaid and I won't survive if you get rid of it. We have to let people know they don't know. And no one is telling them. You are aware, right? You know, the spirit guides told me this morning, they said, it's going to be like this. And I think this is March. It's going to be like somebody, some bully comes up to you and grabs your head and forces your head in a bucket of water. Now, if you know that this is likely to happen, you're going to get a big old bunch of air in your lungs, hold your mouth shut, and endure it. And endure it and get out. And when your head is up, you're going to be like, I survived. If you don't know this is coming, if you're caught off guard, you're going to be breathing underwater. You're going to be sucking in water. You're going to be trying to survive when you can't. They don't know. They're going to be the ones that suffer. You already know what's coming. You have the guidance. You're in control. You can take steps to deal with this. You can start a GoFundMe right now. If you're a person who's got a kid who is on life-saving medication, I would suggest you start a GoFundMe right now, because there's enough of us that have $20 that'd be happy to give you $20. And I think for the next year, we're going to GoFundMe our way out of our crises. What is that? It's community. It's crowd sourcing. Allow the community to come around you and support you. And because of the internet, I can give you $5, and that's enough, because 1,000 of us are going to give you $5. But you have to take steps. Don't be a sitting duck for this. Get proactive, okay? Be proactive. There's a lot more. I'm going to do a whole video about this, actually. The last thing I want to say is that I do have a community online, $12 a month, where you can speak freely. You can tell people about your spiritual problems or wins or whatever happened. You can also speak freely. We have a political side. So we have a separate political space where you can get in there and say whatever you want, because I own the space. Meta doesn't own the space. Nobody owns the space. Susan owns the space. I pay for it. It's separate. Okay? So it's there for you. And you can find community. You can support each other. And it's safe. And join for the monthly so that you can cancel anytime. You want to join 1 month and leave? You can. There's over 1,100 people there, just like you. It is the busiest damn community I've ever seen in my life. It's going all the time. All the time it is going, like 24/7, all the time. Right now, I have 1,400 notifications from that community. That's how many people are on there every day, chatting, supporting, laughing, crying, sharing. It's really, really, really a resource. Now, I am working on another resource that is going to be different, that's going to be free, flat out free. It's costing me money to do it, but it's going to be free. I'll be announcing that, I think, next week. I'm pretty excited about it. So if you have no money, guess what? I'm creating a resource for you too. So it's not going to have the same, benefits, but it's going to have a community. Also, for the paid community, today is the day, actually, one of the days I'm doing readings on this community, basically twice a month. So there's that. Plus, also on the paid community, I have guest speakers that come on and do an hour where they just talk about their particular topic, astrology, whatever it is, and or mediumship or psychic abilities, whatever it is, right? And you have over 110 videos that are there for you to watch on the paid community. So that's 2 options for you, right? But I would say join anybody's community. All of us have communities, a lot of them through YouTube. Just find your people and find your local people. It's so important. It is so important to know people in your local community. Look up Democrats in my area. Look up gardeners. Find a community of people that you like, of things that you like to do. Try not to ride this out under your bed, isolating yourself. I get it. That's me. Like, that's what I want to do. But it's not helpful. It doesn't make us strong. If they divide us, they conquer us. If we're together, they can't stop us. Okay? Again, I'll be back with more videos. Take really good care of yourself. If you've watched this video and you're not subscribed, please consider subscribing. And you can find my community at my website, SusanLynnMedium.com. SusanLynnMedium.com. I have to go because I have to actually go give readings in my community. So take really good care, and I'll see you soon, okay? For entertainment purposes only.